It is Tuesday, the 7th of February 2023, and you are watching another fresh edition of Primetime News. Good evening, I'm Patricia Kutsia. The official opening of Cabinet for the year 2023 leads tonight's bulletin. President Dr. Hage Geingob earlier today revealed his intentions to call on a broad consultative meeting of various stakeholders in the education sector, including ministers, governors, and executive directors, among others. The head of state made the announcement during the opening of this year's cabinet at State House. Emilia Kambuta filed our lead report.
So education is a problem, but education is the greatest equalizer. Opens all the doors, and that's why it's so important. It's a concern of all of us. That's why we are going to meet to share opinions, to share what direction we can follow, to kind of revisit what happened. Is it that bad, or is it presentation? It is true, it's bad. But how do we present it to make it worse, so that maybe somebody can say things are so bad? So I will be informing you. Two ministers already approached me. One was trying to have her own kind of a meeting, consultations, higher education minister. So I said, combine the two, and under my stewardship to open it and lead it, then we'll leave it for everybody to discuss. It doesn't stop other things to happen. And some were saying that meetings are necessary. Maybe worst thing is not implementation. You must talk. Otherwise you'll go to war. When diplomacy fails, people go to war, I say. Same with ourselves in a small community. If we don't talk, there will be misunderstanding, gossiping, misinterpretation of other people's views. But if you can talk, while we're implementing school can go ahead. So don't discourage us from talking and planning. That you must do. It's a must. But don't just sit on planning and talking. That's what you must condemn.
Staying with the opening of the cabinet, earlier this morning, President Dr. Hage Geingob noted that the country is making strides in the Southern Corridor Development Initiative. Let's get a deeper understanding from this report compiled by Emilia Kambuta.
As we prepare to revive our fortunes, our focus should turn to specific areas that will require our attention in the medium to long-term periods. As I said, there are green shoots of recovery in several sectors of our economy. Let us take advantage of these opportunities by developing new ideas that may reinvigorate our economy, create jobs, and open new horizons for sustained growth and innovation. I remind you that the 2022 Cabinet Retreat will prioritize agriculture, housing, and education. We must therefore critically review our process and expedite the implementation of key projects in these sectors. The line ministers responsible for these sectors would be expected to present detailed plans with timelines as to how they envisage speedy delivery of relevant projects with catalytic economic impacts. I want to see clearly articulated plans of action for these projects. We are making good progress on Southern Corridor Development Initiative, spurred on by global interest in developing green hydrogen and its derivatives in that area. However, at this critical stage, meticulous planning and execution is key to fully unlock this opportunity as envisioned.
Switching attention to housing matters, Minister of Urban and Rural Development Erastus Utomi on Monday urged the City of Windhoek's Council to intensify the provision of land delivery and sanitation services in the capital. Let's listen in.
Frankly speaking, if we are not careful, Your Worship, I think you know, if we are not careful, if we are just involving ourselves into political kind of discussion, we'll find ourselves on the wrong side in terms of services. Sanitation in Windhoek is a serious problem. I think they've been following the media, how other countries, people are dying as a result of cholera. Cholera can also come here. Because I was informed, some of the ponds, where now the sewer is to be pumped through, are overflowing. They can no longer cope that too much sewer water. It requires now for us to find strategies, find money, and might come up with a sewer, how do you call it? Sewer plan. Yes. Sewer treatment plan. But what I'm seeing here now, in Windhoek, Your Worship, you are divided, a divided council on political affiliation.
On to labour matters. Minister of Labour, Industrial Relations and Employment Creations, Utomi Niyoma, says Namibia has shown readiness to be part of the Global Accelerator. More from this report.
Speaking during the high-level scoping mission from the International Labour Organization, Minister of Labour, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation, Utomi Niyoma, said all stakeholders and social partners that met with the International Labour Organization scoping mission team that was in Namibia expressed readiness to participate in the Global Accelerator. The Global Accelerator was launched by the United Nations Secretary General in September 2021. It aims to increase the level and coordination of efforts to help countries create 400 million decent jobs in both developed and emerging communities and to extend social protection to half the world's population who are currently excluded. Niyoma explained that, as a Pathfinder country, Namibia would be required to identify entry points for the Global Accelerator project and to propose a number of interrelated broad areas that include policy coherence and coordination of employment and social protection, employment creation, inequality and informality. These areas, the minister said, will be reviewed and supported by an agreed-upon financing strategy.
When we return with the business segment, we cast spotlight on Namibia's business laws. Welcome to the business segment. An international roundtable on the Namibian corporate law reform to review outdated business laws and improve the ease of doing business in Namibia commenced here on Monday. Prime Rose filed this report.
The meeting, hosted by the Business and Intellectual Property Authority in conjunction with the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade, is aimed at further simplifying and promoting the digitalization of the business registration process. It is also aimed at encouraging investment and innovation through an effective and predictable regulatory business environment. Officiating at the event, Minister of Industrialization and Trade Lucia Ipumbu said Namibia is not performing well in terms of doing business due to countless challenges faced, such as the duration it takes to start a business. Ipumbu said, compared to countries such as South Africa, Botswana and Rwanda, to register a business with BIPA takes between 7 and 14 days, while these countries have managed to reduce the process to less than 24 hours. Ipumbu went on to say that the review will lead to the development of the Corporate Laws Bills and Regulations, which will replace the current Companies Act of 2004 and the Close Cooperation Act of 1988.
Prime Minister Sarah Kukangelwa Amatila says the government has taken a decision to support locally produced goods. The Premier further emphasized that quality and fair pricing should not be compromised in this endeavor. Prime Rose Harases filed this insert.
Prime Minister Sarah Kukangelwa Amadila said the procurement framework has been amended to provide for the support for locally produced goods through the Code of Good Practice on Preferences, which provides for the preferences for locally produced goods and services and which was recently launched by the Ministry of Finance. She, however, noted that quality and fair price should not be compromised and the government must demonstrate openness and equal opportunities for bidders. Kukangelwa Amadila also mentioned the implications of climate change with regards to the flooding in northern Namibia and urged EDs to continuously collaborate to share resources and eliminate any duplications in the deployment of resources to provide relief.
As public servants, we must rededicate our efforts to ensure that we fully implement the programs of government and bring about the needed positive change in the lives of our people. As executive directors, you have an important responsibility in the implementation of government programs. In terms of Section 11 of the Public Service Act,
she further stated that all ministries must implement maintenance plan for public infrastructure, saying maintenance of infrastructure is key and the cost of replacing it is high.
That's where we leave it with the top news for this evening. Up next is the economic roundup, followed by the weather forecast. Welcome to the world of sports on Sports Planet. The English Premier League leads this segment. Leeds United on Monday sacked coach Jesse Marsch after just a year in charge, with the club only above the relegation zone on goal difference.
The club in a statement confirmed that Marsch's backroom team had also left their jobs, saying they are thankful for their effort and wish them well for the future. The statement read, "The process of appointing a new head coach is underway and they will continue to keep supporters up to date throughout the coming days." The American replaced Marcelo Bielsa in February 2022 and last season managed to keep the club in the Premier League with a last day win away to Bradford. He won 11 out of the 37 games in charge, drawing 10 and losing the remaining 16.
On to the Women's Cricket T20 World Cup. South Africa will seek to take advantage of home conditions in the Women's T20 World Cup, which commences on Friday, despite a troubled build-up.
South Africa plays Sri Lanka in the opening match at Newlands in Cape Town. The hosts will hope to improve on the performances of their country's men's team, who failed to reach the knockout stages in the only two global men's cricket events held in South Africa, the 2003 World Cup and 2006 Championships Trophy. South Africa was also underperforming hosts of the 2005 Women's World Cup when they finished 7th out of the 8 teams taking part. Crowds were sparse and media exposure was minimal at a time when interest in women's cricket was almost non-existent. The 2023 event will, however, have a higher profile with significant pre-publicity and live television coverage.
Stand by for your sports roundup. With the sports news, we have come to the end of tonight's newscast. Many thanks for watching. Do catch us tomorrow for the midweek from myself, Patricia Coetzee, and the crew behind the scenes. It's good night.